Good morning. Premier Bennett of British Columbia is to be complimented today for the sane, sound, common sense action he took last night. What has he done? He ordered the pulp industry to lift that crippling lockout. He ordered the 12,000 men back to work Monday, will not tolerate strikes in the interim period, will ensure negotiations go on with a special mediator, and if the parties do not negotiate, the legislature will impose a settlement. And looking at the state of British Columbia at the moment and the problems we've had, it's not a moment too soon. And I strongly suspect that despite rumblings of discontent from both the pulp industry and from the pulp unions, that the men and their families themselves will be collectively heaving sighs of relief this morning. Sure, it's arbitrary action, but it's for the greater good of the greater number in an economic crisis in British Columbia. And now for Expo. Expo is undoubtedly threatened. All Expo would need is a couple of jurisdictional non-affiliation strikes, and it wouldn't be ready on time, and the budget would become an intolerable burden. Jimmy Patterson, a good choice for the job, has been given 10 days to come to what must be obviously a strike-free agreement on what technically will be an open site. No agreement, and Patterson will report to the Premier, and if there is no agreement, my interpretation, Patterson will recommend that Expo be cancelled with a loss of $700 million investment, God knows how many jobs, and the incredible embarrassment of Canada as a nation. Sympathy, I strongly believe, is totally with Bennett on this issue. And you can have sympathy with Bennett on this issue without necessarily damning the construction unions for their fight over the years to get their proper share of the dollar. Blame lies in many places. What's going to happen between Patterson and Gauthier? I don't know. But look for a pretty straightforward compromise, because it's perfectly obvious that 80 to 90% of the work on Expo is going to be union anyway, done by contractors under the CLRA agreement. So you can see room for a simple agreement guaranteeing the unions a specific, fairly large proportion of what happens, but allowing non-union firms to bid on the site. There may have to be some fancy dancing about separation of jurisdiction. There may have to be a guarantee that nothing will be declared hot. There may have to be some fancy negotiating on 24-hour arbitrations, such as they have on the waterfront, if it runs into trouble. And Mr. Patterson might be well advised to look at the federal government's practice of imposing minimum wages on contracts awarded for Expo to be applied to non-union contractors, so that it cannot be said that you've got well-paid union men on the site and guys who are being chivied to work for really substandard wages. So I would say that, putting the past aside for the moment, forgetting all the hyperbole and the bad feeling, that Bennett's action, and it was well delivered last night in a pretty sophisticated, reasonable, soft sell manner, the old business, which looks much better, of speaking softly and carrying a big stick, is something which should be supported by British Columbians, and I am pretty confident this morning, which I wasn't yesterday, that Messrs. Gauthier and Patterson will get together, come to an agreement, and Expo, praise the Lord, because we need the money and the jobs, will go ahead. Well, that's not a bad note for me to introduce my last live program of the season. Steve?
And we'll both be back after the break, I think, I hope.
Hi, I'm Jack's makeup artist. Now you understand why my job is so very important to the program, and why I try so very hard to get hairspray on Jack and get him organized first thing in the morning, because it is rather a frightening sight. Anyway, Jack, have a wonderful summer, and I'll see you next season.
So, I am one of those people who is called a seldom seen and often misunderstood Webster minion, and for my own purposes, are you coming back next year?
Why?
Well, I want to know if I should renegotiate my mortgage for one thing.
Yes, I'm coming back next year, and hopefully the year after, and the year after, and the year after, and the year after, because, you know, I get a fair chunk of time off in the summer and chance to recharge my kind of fading batteries. Now, what are we going to do this morning, Mr. Co-Producer?
Well, I'm one of those people that gets you to do things once in a while that are slightly embarrassing, and I can run away and hide while you look stupid on the air.
Right.
And there is one person who's been on here a few times by the name of Alan Fotheringham, who you call your friend only by the virtue of the fact that he's shorter than you are.
That's right.
And we've combined him with another guy by the name of Don Cherry, who caused some hilarity around here when he was on this year and the year before, so we can have that one first.
What we're going to do there for is a kind of light-hearted look back at 6 years of Webster.
Some of the funny bits. Has it been 6 years?
I've finished my 6th year, so we're going to see Foth and Cherry.
Foth and Cherry first.
Okay. Look at Foth. Look at him, see? Come around the camera so we can see you've got no neck, right? And there is at least one woman in the country who publicly loves him. And something else about Foth, says Joan Sutton. He is sexy. Despite the fact that he is only 5'5". 5'5".
7.
7 with your lifts on. That his face is crumpled and his expensively tailored clothes always look rumpled. Foth is sexy. I can't ask him these questions. I've got to tell him to his embarrassed face. Look embarrassed. Why is Foth sexy? Show me your legs. There is the aphrodisiac that is built into his position as an influential, sought-after celebrity, an intimate of all the very best people in the country. There is also the promise of laughter, a soul-opening ability to listen, a raunchy, dirty guffaw. Give me a raunchy, dirty guffaw. And above all, come in close, come in close, come in close. Those eyes, hurt, caring, appealing, lonely. I have here the coach of the year, the dandy of the year, the man of the year, the author of the year, the loudmouth of the year.
Hey, that's you.
You often failed as a coach. This is your life, Don Cherry, because of your inability to command players to get on and off the ice on time. Is that not correct? Is that not correct?
You really went into this bucket.
Answer the question, witness.
Yes, I'm going to have to tell you I got fired. One of the reasons I got fired, they had a guy named Mike McEwen, who I call a space cadet, and I told him I wanted him off the ice in 1 minute all the time. He would never come off. He was on for the tying goal, I'll never forget it was against Chicago. I told him, one more time, you've had it. And he was the owner's pet, hey? He was his pet. He stays on for another 2 minutes, gives up the winner, and he come, I throttled him. The owners were there. We had to go to New York the next day. I get to New York, and the post it had, Cherry assaults McEwen. I thought I'd raped him. I got fired.
That was one of the reasons you got fired.
That was a big reason.
On a contract like that, did they just pay you up to the moment they fire you, throw you out, and that's it? Or did they have to give you your option money?
Well, let me tell you a story how I knew I was going.
Yeah.
Every year I got an equipment bag.
Right.
And on the side of it, it was a big Boston Bruins that had Coach Don Cherry. And that year when I got it, it just said Coach. I knew I was on my way.
You're the East Coast Howie, what's his name?
Howie, what is it? Howie Meeker.
Howie Meeker.
Not as rich as him, though.
And not as good as he is either.
Oh, what are you talking about? Well, I got to admit, I copied him a little bit.
Next question.
I got better suits.
Is it not a fact, matter of fact, I hate to tell you what you look like. I was married in a suit like that in 1939.
Well, you dressed a lot better in 39 than you do now.
And where do you get your collars built? Go in that collar. Look at it. Take your hands away.
All right.
Take your hands away.
What's the matter with that? My hair doesn't look good today, though. I got a cold.
But it's a very good book.
I know it is.
It's thoroughly enjoyable, and I must say,
300,000.
the standard of literacy makes me to think that you did write the book.
You got it, Jack.
And the Fischler only put it together.
This guy should speak for Canada. He's the last honest guy, besides me.
Why
Put
do
her
you
there.
just try and destroy my image, Don?
Ah, you're great.
What's your wife's first name?
Rose.
How the hell? And you're still married to her?
Yeah, I don't know how. Well,
How has she put up with you?
Well, I'm away a lot. Her hardest job, she says, is when she goes to the airport, not smiling when I leave.
Next.
That was good. Well, besides him, we've got other entertainers drop into town on occasion, and you've done just about every one of them. I think the word is out in Hollywood to do Webster when they come to town. And do you remember your most embarrassing moment?
Do I remember it, Shirley MacLaine? Never will I forget.
Look who's talking about unkindness and cruelty, for goodness sake, as you wipe your brow out of fear and terror.
In case you come out with another string of four-letter words.
In case I come over there and jump on you.
Tell me, Shirley, are you... Please. My family is watching.
They'd
Please.
probably love it.
Please.
They see some life in the old boy yet.
While we're on the subject, are you liberated?
Are you saying please, please? Why are you saying please?
I'm saying please, please.
You want me to liberate you, do you, Jack?
Tell me, are you liberated? I've never been so humiliated,
You've liberated in your
mortified,
life.
or embarrassed in my life.
Jack Webster is liberated.
Liberated. But you're not really liberated anyway.
No, I'm just like you.
Just like me. Hypocrite.
We talk a lot, but it's all a bunch of bull. Right? That's what it is.
There you go again. You're just impossible. How old are you?
Old enough. You know who you remind me of?
Don't tell me.
A cross between Archie Bunker and my father.
If you had said...
I have this feeling.
If you had said... That's mine. Thank you.
You bring out the most extraordinarily maternal instincts in me. I really could just come right over there on your lap and tell you all the things there are to make you happy.
That's enough.
Enjoying time?
A cross between Archie Bunker and your father. You were warned, was it by Indira Gandhi, not to make Gandhi a deity?
Yeah, it was her father. It was Pandit Nehru. It was in 1963, and we'd just finished a very first screenplay, and I'd been to have tea with him. He was a marvelous man, you know, extraordinary man. I went to see him first in very, very early in 1963, and I went in to see him at 8:30 in the morning on a Monday morning, and he had that marvelous gift of persuading you that you were the one person on earth that he wanted to see at 8:30 on a Monday morning. Oh, the most charismatic figure I've ever met in my life. And it was he, after that tea, after he'd leafed through the script, I was saying goodbye to him at his house, Tinmutti, and I was getting into the car, and he was standing on the steps. And he came down the steps, he said, "Richard, one last thing in your film. Whatever you do, do not deify him. That's what we've done in India." And he said he was too great a man to be deified. And I always remembered that because later on in the 80s, I was bashed fairly heavily by a number of people who believed that it was sacrilegious to make a film with Gandhi, about Gandhi, with an actor playing Gandhi, because he was a deity, he was a phenomenon, he was this, he was that. They actually formed a committee to oppose the film, and at a press conference, one lady said to me, "There's only one way in which we can portray Gandhi on film, and that's by a moving light."
And
I was
you
so
said...
angry. I did, yes.
And you said...
I did.
You said... Your
I'm not
quote...
making a film about bloody Tinkerbell. It got me into the most terrible trouble.
Thank you, Sir Richard Attenborough.
Thank you.
Can I tell you what I didn't like? You wouldn't mind, would you?
No, I'm used to it.
You probably thought it was great. Victor Victoria.
You didn't like that?
No, I didn't like that. That wasn't my Jimmy Garner.
Yeah, but that was kind of fun. It was kind of light and fluffy and
Light and fluffy, but of course it was a wee bit sexy for me. I didn't understand parts of it. Was that
you
my
didn't?
problem?
Well, I know what. When you go in, we'll give you a little book so you can understand what they're talking about.
How many months a year do you work now, James?
Well, I try to work no more than 3 or 4 now.
3 or 4 months a year.
Yeah, I've been working 10, 11 months a year for about 25 years or more. And I want to turn it around. I want to work a month or 2.
Why haven't you married again?
Because I don't want to. I didn't meet anybody.
You haven't met anybody yet?
No. But I'm looking forward to it.
Because you're getting, you know, you're over 50 now. You haven't got that much
But
time.
I saved a lot of money now. I can take care of myself. Why would I want to get married to some schlemiel that doesn't love me, that just wants my money? I already had that. I've worked for 13 years to pay off every debt in the world. Now I've got it all paid off. I have my little house. And so what do I need to do that? Unless I fall in love. And let's hope it happens. And if it does, I'll tackle him.
And he'll whip away another 10 million from you.
No, he won't.
Best of luck, Debbie.
Thank you for having me on your show, Mr. Webster.
That was great, too,
She
wasn't
was
it?
good. You know, after that interview with Debbie Reynolds, her manager took me aside and said, "You think that guy Webster would be interested in a bit part in my next movie?"
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I said, you know, he'd love to do it. And in anticipation of your second career in Hollywood, we put together another little something just for you.
Baby, look at me and tell me what you see. You ain't seen the best of me yet. Give me time, I'll make you forget the rest. I got more than me, and you can set it free. I can catch the moon in my hand. Don't you know who I am? Remember my name. Hey, I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly. Oh, I feel it coming together. People will see me and cry. Hey, I'm gonna make it to heaven. Light up the sky like a flame. I'm gonna live forever. Baby, remember my name.
Mark Schneider here. Glad I've got this opportunity to get something off my chest. Can you imagine what it's like working for Jack? I mean, think about it from my perspective. I'm his researcher. I'm the brains behind him. You've heard him scream at me. You know, I'll tell you, I'm glad I've got these 5 months away. It's gonna be great.
Well, Steve, what's next? You picked these things. I don't like to look too narcissistic.
When I started on Webster, you told me about this thing you called a walkabout, and we were going all over the place doing the strangest things and breaking all the rules of television, as I remember.
Quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty. We could shoot 20 or 40 minutes of tape and use 35 on the air, as I remember it from the beginning. And one of the first ones you did, and we can start with that one, is in 1978, when the new Robson Square opened downtown.
Pleasant stroll in Robson Square, leading to the postage stamp lawn. Beautiful though it is, and it is beautiful. And this mound of earth. The bureaucrats are a little bit hesitant about giving specific breakdowns. There's been so much kerfuffle over costs of this particular project. But I can tell you something about the earth here. It was too heavy. Great structural problems, stress problems. So underneath this, we've got vast, big, I suppose, blocks of styrofoam, which is much lighter than earth, to help fill up the space and make it work. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the first wino bottle in Robson Square. Kelowna Royal Red. Oh, medium dry. I hope it's the last one. This is the second time in my life, and it'll probably be the last time, that I will have been standing in the main dome of the British Columbia Penitentiary. And I came back today for a particular purpose. You couldn't exactly call it nostalgia. You couldn't exactly call it fun to come back. But BC Penitentiary means a lot of things to a lot of people. It's a storehouse of drama, a storehouse of tragedy, storehouse of misery, and there have been quite a few stories with happy endings. It was one night in April 1963, I was sitting at home with my family and I got a phone call from Tommy Hall. Strangest phone call I ever had in my life. Tommy, who was the warden at the BC Pen, said, and we weren't on very good terms at the time because I'd been nagging about the BC Pen on the radio. He said, Jack, we got a problem. few prisoners causing some trouble. And he said they want to speak either to Lester Pearson, who was the Prime Minister of Canada at the time, or Jack Webster. Just a few moments ago, the car was presented at the back door and yours truly drove in Murchie's Instant People's car. Low gas mileage, gas or natural gas, low cost. And there I am hitting the doorpost, the first accident in Murchie 1, the very first. I have now stuck it on the doorpost. I'm at the city dump. You can throw anything any way you like. Tell me, if I want to buy some drugs, are you the guy that can help me?
Nope.
Oh, how about just a little LSD, maybe?
You'd have to ask around. You'd have to ask around.
Can I? Not so much noise there. Just a minute. Can I get what I want in the way of drugs of any kind on the 800 block Granville?
You can get it anywhere in the city.
Answer the question.
In this city?
Pretend
Probably
you're on
so.
the witness stand and you're a
Well,
no.
what do you think?
Probably.
Probably. How much? What's the going rate for hash these days?
On the street, about $15 a gram.
How about LSD?
About $5 a hint.
$5 a head. How about heroin?
No chemicals down there.
Well, now, who messed you up? Was it was it not your folks that messed you up in the first place?
Well, I don't know. There's sort of a cop-out, but I guess I messed myself up.
You were 6 when you left him.
Yeah.
And
First time.
How many foster homes have you been in since?
42.
How many?
Well, now 43.
43. And a social worker chasing you in and out of these foster homes all your life, you might say.
Well, I don't know. I found one I liked, but they took me away.
Why did you like it? Was it too soft? Was it?
Because they were good people. They cared.
And how old are you now?
16.
Yeah, you seem to know what you're doing. Do you get into rage tempers and do stupid things?
No, I just want to go to school. I don't want to be in trouble with the law.
When are you going to get out of here?
I don't know.
This is the heart of the Revelstoke Dam project, and take it from me, they're coming up to their 2 millionth yard of continuous pouring of concrete. What's your name?
Bill McMartin, sir.
Where are you from, Bill?
Windsor, Ontario.
How do you like this work?
That's wonderful.
Well, you're going to keep going till when?
You see, this is the difficulty I'm going to have to resolve. My work is not work; it's a vocation, and if you're a Christian, you can't retire from that. And so, what form it takes, I don't know. But I have a hunch that my involvement's going to be pretty much in the future.
Don't you get to hate some of these bureaucrats and politicians?
No,
hate
Jack.
them.
No,
hate
Jack.
them.
No,
hate them.
No. As a Christian.
Don't they infuriate you?
Oh, they infuriate me, but you have to love everybody. Even though you don't like them, you've got to love them.
And even if you've got to shout at them from time to time.
Oh, yes, and these people that we have here, sometimes I shout at them, but they love it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take the trouble, then they know that you care.
These are most uncomfortable. Any idea what still stand any physical strain these chains, won't they? What am I here for?
You're charged.
Oh, I better not be so aggressive.
Well, you're charged with section 361, 2 counts of it.
What is section 361?
I wish you hadn't asked. It's impersonation. Impersonation, 2 counts. You did use persistent and violent abuse of the English language on the 23rd of November, and on count 2, to personate an English person, as it states on the Form 8.
The maximum sentence for which has got to be life imprisonment in an English public school.
You've got that, yeah.
Some of these are great. I'd forgotten about Robson Square.
And that's not all of them either. There's so many, but they were some of the more memorable ones.
What's next?
But there is one more walkabout we haven't mentioned yet. We saved that one especially, which we did this year, and that was, I think, my first visit to the Yukon and your first return to the Yukon for about 10
Yukon
years.
Sourdough Rendezvous.
That's it. We had a lot of fun on that one.
Well, let's go back. It wasn't long ago, but let's see a little bit of it now.
Good.
Eh, Pat? watching now. Press play. Down a bit.
I'm just the organizer, but I thought I'd do this for fun.
Oh, of course. I didn't recognize you with your clothes on. Good job.
Oh, not this guy. You hold the peg, she gets both hands. Ready, go!
Eat your heart out, Paul Watson.
After the break, you're going to meet one of the people, which was Jack's most memorable interview, I think, at BCTV, and that was Luke Kuhlman after the break.
Hi, I'm Peggy, and I just wanted to wish Jack a happy summer and hope to see him in September. We won't have to cook this darn porridge for him anymore. See you in September, Jack.
It was in year 4 in 1982 that Jack and I met Luke Kuhlman. Remember him, Jack?
He was the guy who was left on the sea bus with a note pinned to his chest saying, his name is Luke, he is retarded, please look after him. He wasn't retarded at all.
That's right.
He was totally uneducated except in music. And he'd remembered well living in a truck.
A big blue bus.
Big blue bus in
yeah.
Stanley Park across the country with this woman who he thought was his sister, Greta. And I remember him telling me once, I don't think he told me on film, that when Greta vanished, the last time he saw her, she was lying in a box, all dressed up. That must have been a coffin.
That's right.
So after they'd been trying to find out who he was for a month, I went down and interviewed him. And I'll never forget that interview as long as I live. And just so you'll appreciate the pathos of it, Luke later, he was troubled, attempted to kill himself. He then disappeared. I'm sure that this poor soul is dead. Let's see this extract from Luke Kuhlman's interview in '82. Before you were left at the sea bus, with whom had you been staying?
The Grammans.
The who?
The Grammans.
The Grammans?
Yes.
Was that the name of the couple?
Was the old man, old woman.
Old man and old woman.
Yes. I think they knowed my brother from Montreal.
They knowed your brother from Montreal. What's your brother's name?
Bert.
Bert.
That's his little name.
His little name. His full name being what?
Bertolt.
Bertolt. And your sister's name?
Greta, the little name.
What's her big name?
Margareta.
Margareta. And what's the last name?
Kuhlman. We always Kuhlmans.
Always Kuhlmans. Yes. Kuhlmans. Do you remember your mother and father?
No. No, the old folks, my sister says they come from Bavaria.
From Bavaria?
Bavaria.
And you've got a little accent.
Just from what my sister teaches.
Just from what your sister taught you?
Yes, she says.
Maybe a little bit of a Germany kind of accent.
I guess.
But a little bit
she knowed lots of languages.
She knew lots of languages?
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's go back to your early days, Luke.
To what?
To your early days.
Oh, yes.
Did you go to school? Where did you live in Toronto?
We lived by the metro station.
Down near the Royal York Hotel?
Oh, no, by the metro station.
Right by the metro stations? In the big house?
No, in the house, yes, not in the... No, we didn't have the bus house then.
What kind of house was it?
Oh, there's a... you come to the front, there's a great big room on this side and a great big room on this side. In this room, we had a big piano, the big one. My sister teaches the piano to the little kids,
Grand piano?
Oh, yes, you could... It was so nice,
Yeah, and your sister looked after you very well, didn't she?
Oh, God, it's the best.
Why didn't you go to school?
I don't know. The people sometimes I don't know the reading stuff.
Yeah, don't get upset because we're having a nice, happy conversation.
Yeah, sure. No, they
tell
didn't
me
know
about
stuff.
Tell me about the time your sister stepped in. Oh, you got a bicycle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was little. I got a bicycle. The first day I fall right off and break my arm.
Aye. Then the next time.
And then there's just somebody one time says my head was made of wood. Oh, Holzkopf. That's the German,
See that again in German?
Holzkopf.
Holzkopf.
The
wooden head.
And she punched him.
Pow.
Oh, she really punched him.
She really looked after me. You didn't go to school?
No.
And yesterday I got a letter. Almost an anonymous letter. It was mailed, I suspect, with design from the main post office in Vancouver a few days ago. I'm going to let you see part of this letter because it's from the Gromans, and I'll tell you why he called them the Gromans. And here, any moment now, is the letter. It was deeply gratifying to us to learn of the splendid efforts being made by you and those other fine people on behalf of Lucas Kuhlman, because it confirmed to us that we made the right decision for Luke. We are the Gromans, which was simply Luke's version of the names by which we were presented to him, Grandma and Grandpa, although we are not actually related to him. The full details of his tragedy will never be told, at least not by us, for to do so would only harm Luke and have a devastating effect on the lives of some other innocent people as well. Luke's sister took the infant and moved to Toronto, where with the continuous support of the mother's relations who fortunately had considerable means, she sought anonymity. For the rest of her life, she devoted herself to shielding Luke, making some enormous sacrifices along the way. We bless you, Mr. Webster, and pray that our gentle Luke will find the peaceful life that Greta wanted so desperately for him, the Gromans. And as far as I'm concerned, that closes the book on Luke.
Never did hear from him after that, did we?
No, I'm sure he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would have suffered. I'm sure. I'm mad now that I didn't take him to Toronto and find the house.
There was some suspicion that he actually went to Toronto on his own at some point. Because he lived with a woman in the Fraser Valley for a while.
Very nice woman
yes.
who tried very hard to look after him, and he was able to play his own little music cassettes, and he was able to listen to her jamming operas and operettas and
That's
whatnot.
right, yeah.
He would have turned up. He would have surfaced.
I think so too, yeah. Anyway, the year after that, we interviewed another intriguing man by the name of Bobby Wilson from Vancouver.
One of my favorite people, Bobby. A guy of considerable background and experience and things that we don't normally talk about. He was writing a book called The Butcher of Leon. And I did 90 minutes live with Bobby, an incredible extrovert and a great raconteur, without a single solitary telephone call. I didn't want to take any. I didn't want to interrupt Bobby Wilson. Remember the Leon? Remember the Butcher of Leon? What was his name again?
Klaus Barbie.
Klaus Barbie, who's still in that French jail, and told Bobby a lot of stuff. Now let's see just a little bit out of Bobby Wilson and the Butcher of Leon. Here is the incredible but credible Bobby Wilson of Vancouver, a former international jewel thief now with a clean sheet. He's been pardoned for his record of a long time ago. And here is Bobby Wilson with Klaus Barbie. He met with him for weeks in the 70s in Bolivia. He paid him for his story. He has the rights to Barbie's own personal story. Bobby, when you interviewed this monster in 73 and 75, what kind of person did he seem to be?
Well, he seemed to be like well-mannered, cultured, ingratiating, grandfatherly type.
And what kind of person was he, in fact, did you decide after you'd talked to him all these hours? What kind of human being was he really?
Well, that's the nub of the whole thing. This guy's a monster. I didn't know that when I met him.
Some of the admissions he made to you on tape and in conversation were horrifying. Tell me about the time he killed the 2 kids.
Well, to hear him tell it, there were 2 young boys, one 10, one 12 approximately. And they were on bicycles. They pedaled by some sort of an open-air cafe and lobbed some sort of an explosive device into this cafe where the German soldiers were R&R, rest recuperation, unarmed. There was some damage done. Whether they killed anyone or not, I don't know. The 2 children were apprehended immediately. Barbie was notified, being the commander of that unit, and he waited till a large group of people gathered around, and he took out his sidearm, his pistol, and he arbitrarily executed them both on the spot. Now, I challenged him on that. I asked him about that. I said, how can you kill children, Klaus? I mean, tell me that. Try to make me understand how you can kill children. Well, he drew the parallel that these children the damage that resulted of their actions, was equal to a fully armed combat troop, and that the blame should not be placed on him. On the contrary, the blame should be placed on their parents and the adults in the area. He told me about a situation where he had a woman and her daughter, a 13-year-old child, he brought in his office. Now, he said he had a cat. He thought very, very highly of this cat. He very quietly was stroking the cat, and he was questioning the mother who was sitting on a chair. And he was asking her, where is your husband, where is your sons? I want to put them in a labor camp. I guarantee they will live if you tell me where they are. If you don't, we'll kill them. The mother didn't shake. He took the cat very gently, put it on his desk, took out his pistol, and he started pistol whipping the child in front of the mother.
How old was the child?
13, 12 or 13, I believe.
He told you that story.
Wait a minute, yes, I believe she's still alive. I believe the child is still alive. The child lived. But he went to the mother and he said, now what kind of a mother are you? And he took out his gun and he blew her head off. Now he's seen a movie in 1956 in Lima where they filmed right in his office, and he said, I recognized my wallpaper. He said, I could almost see the blood stains on the wall. Now, I'm talking about a sickie. I'm talking about a sickie reliving his life, you know what I mean? He murdered 2 nuns, or he executed 2 nuns. Allegedly, he was decent enough to let them go in their civilian clothes at the insistence of Cardinal Guillier, who interceded on their behalf. But what he told me is it was a terrible thing, Jack. He floated their habits down the Rhone River, right to the city of Lyon.
His only mark towards decency was to let them be executed in
They were executed, but he took the habits, the nuns' habits. And his explanation to me on that was that here these Sisters of Mercy are murdering my fellow soldiers. Now, can I just say this? Barbie was never a soldier. A soldier is something to be proud of on either side. On either side.
He was the
40 years.
Gestapo
This
commandant.
man was a murderer. This man was an executioner.
It's quite possible, Jack, that Bobby will have to go over to Lyon himself and testify at that trial, which is underway now.
The trial's still going on, yes, you're right.
Do you remember in 1980 when a fellow by the name of David Duke came up, a particularly annoying man, if you remember?
KKK.
That's right.
I deliberately double-crossed him.
That's right. It was the moment before the pre-taped interview was about to begin, and you didn't know it, and David Duke didn't know it, that they were already recording, and something happened.
You're afraid to debate me.
No, I'm not afraid to debate you.
Sure you are.
Because I don't think you'll tell me your true views.
Well, then, if you
No, I don't. I think you'll give me a lot of specious nonsense, such as I heard the radio yesterday,
Well, in debate,
which I don't believe to...
In debate and argument, you should be able to defeat me then, sir, shouldn't you? If you
Oh,
win it
no,
fairly.
because I'm a little bit too heavy, and you're a nice, handsome, blonde-haired young man, and you'll come out kind and precious.
Okay, well, if you know.
I'll give you one guarantee. I'll either use it or not use it. I won't edit it.
You edit it, I'll bring it out.
I don't care if you bring it out. You can't frighten me, old chap.
All right,
I run my program.
I'm not
You
trying
don't
to
run
frighten
your program. You run the Ku Klux Klan.
I'm not trying to frighten you, sir.
Let's go. I'll either use it or throw it away. I will not edit it.
And finally, he did use it.
He was a horrible person.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Perfectly horrible.
Very, yeah, you're right. Anyway, we'll lighten it up in the next segment, Jack, with some of those moments when you insist on singing against all
no,
advice
Margaret
to
will
the
be
contrary.
mad if I sing again this morning. Last thing she said before I came out this morning, none of that singing, you that stupid old ham.
You can't get away with it that easy. He'll sing after the break.
Jack, you'll be back in 5 months. May, June, July, August, September, 9 a.m. precisely. Have a happy time. Here's someone else would like to have a little thing.
Have a good summer, Jack.
What do you mean I'm singing?
You're going to sing eventually, I think, on this one. But I don't, remember, once in a while a song will come out on the radio which will be particularly pertinent to your personality, shall we say? And a few years ago, a song came out called Hard to Be Humble, and we put together a little something about Jack's humility, shall we call it?
This is how it feels to be alone at the top of the hill, trying to figure out why.
Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror 'cause I get better looking each day. To know me is to love me. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can.
And my background isn't that of a wasp either.
You don't speak like one. That's the problem.
Or jump in the lake.
I used to have a girlfriend, but I guess she just couldn't compete with all of these love-starved women who keep clamoring at my feet. Well, I probably could find me another, but I guess they're all in awe of me. Who cares? I never get lonesome, 'cause I treasure my own company. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble. You're perfect in every way. Can't wait to look in the mirror. Can't wait to look in the mirror. Help me out now, come on. I get better looking each day. To know me is to what? To know me is to love me. Must be a hell of a man. I must be a hell of a man. Oh Lord, it's hard. Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're doing what? We're doing the best that we can.
Well, I try, but I find it really hard to be humble.
We're doing the best that we can.
Suzanne Weiss, ladies and gentlemen. Suzanne was my first producer.
First producer, that's right.
Been
Yeah.
way more than 2 years now. She's
Yeah.
on the Journal. Big shot.
Big
Great
shot
stuff.
on, yeah, gone to the Eastern Media Mafia.
Yeah,
in
she'll
Toronto.
finish up as a big technical star, I'll
That's
tell
right.
you.
Oh yeah. But remember the year when you decided to sing with your? It was an old tape that you did with Jack Wasserman.
Oh, in Cullen's studio
That's
downtown.
right. That's the one.
That was in the Gonorrhea Racetrack.
That's the yeah, right,
above
exactly,
the Alexander Ballroom. No, that's the name of the
I
place,
know.
and that's the name of the place.
And you had your first effort here to try to lip sync. That didn't work too well, but we'll run it anyway and see if it looks any better.
Good.
Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because those words were spoken. I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll cry, die, cry, cry. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a goddamn lie.
I hope they got some graphics to go. Oh, you whistle too. $2 a.m. It's a wonder Margaret let you home. Or did she?
I love you, yes I do. I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Lost it.
Terrific. Oh, yeah, we gotta hear this.
That's got to be 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
18 to 20 years ago.
I know, and the Vancouver Opera Association still won't return your calls. I don't know.
No, they won't. Now.
Well, next
Oh, yeah,
week-
the family.
Yeah, that's right.
This was when all the family were together over at the farm a couple of years
And
ago.
we'll see your magnificent house on Salt Spring Island, I think, in this one.
Good, let's go.
Good morning, Webster. Yes, stand by. Good morning, Webster. Stand by, please. Good morning, Webster. Yes, just 1 minute, please. Good morning, Webster. Jack, they're all for you. Everybody's wishing you a great summer.
Next segment, we're going to take some calls. But Steve, what do you got on the mat now?
Do you remember, I think it was last year, we got to play with royalty. At least you did, anyway.
Oh, dining with the Queen on board
right.
the Royal Yacht Britannia.
Britannia. Oh, yes,
And then,
of
of course, that little bism, Pamela Martin,
Yes.
was there when I came off.
Chasing you after you got off,
Now
as
I know
recall.
what the poor innocent people involved in public affairs suffer at the hands of people like yourself and Schneider and Martin and
That's right.
Hicks and Coxford and
But
Jackson
yeah.
and
I think-
Ricardo and who have I missed? Debbie Van der Graat.
Yeah.
Yeah, who else? Quick.
Who else? Oh, 'cause I think who else is over there?
I'm looking at the empty desks.
Dale Hicks.
Oh, done.
He said
done
Dale.
there.
He said Dale.
And the name Alan.
Alan Edwards, right.
Right.
I think Pamela found you a tough nut to crack, though, because you just wouldn't spill your guts about what the Queen talked to you about.
Oh, I had been well warned. Let's see that one now. No, not me.
The man we've been waiting for.
Why have you been waiting for me?
Because we heard you're the life of the party.
Not really the life of the party. It was a thoroughly delightful evening. I will not do an Alan Fotheringham. I will not tell you what was said.
Just tell us a few things that she said to you.
The evening was absolutely delightful. The Britannia is beyond description. The fittings are glorious. The meal was beautiful. The Prince...
But what did she say?
She was terribly nice and terribly courteous, and everything was just delightful. And for the first time in my long and miserable life as a snoop and a keyhole peeper, my lips are
What did
sealed.
she say, Jack?
She said she loved British Columbia.
Why are they interviewing? Are you telling us the truth?
Oh, total truth. Absolute total. As God is my witness, the Queen loved British Columbia. All over again, I am 100% monarchist. Now, what else do you want me to say? That was one of my most embarrassing moments.
So what did she really say? Anyway, no, never mind.
We're going to go to the phone soon, but a couple more that you want to put on.
Okay, there was one moment when the Lord Provost of Glasgow came out of the closet, so to speak.
That was after the Glasgow trip.
That's right.
I'm back here. Susie Boyce is getting me to stall and insists that I go to the washroom or something. I wait till I go to the washroom.
And we
then-
hustle a strange man in a kilt behind our fake closet over here. This is what happened next.
The bell that never rang, the tree that never grew, and the fish that never swam.
Thank you, Lord Provost.
Thank you very much.
I hope you
sir.
live a long time to enjoy your lampposts.
That's all right.
A special message.
So you really are a television producer?
Oh my.
Hello, Jack.
goodness
How you
gracious,
doing?
It's me.
Sit down. Sit down, please.
Like, see all that stuff you did in Glasgow? I thought that was a con.
I'm absolutely shattered,
Well,
staggered.
no. Seriously, though, I'm over here to see you do the thing properly.
That really caught me cold, flat-footed, and quite flummoxed.
It's not very often we can pull one over on you, but I think we succeeded that time around.
You're going to use Webster and Webster?
Yeah, these are one of those moments when you decide to play television.
Let me tell you something about this. I still don't know how this was done.
Don't ask. We've tried to explain
And
it.
I haven't been able to find that guy to be able to do it again.
Who is that?
Webster.
Oh, right, okay, got it. Well, let's just keep saying chroma key over and over again, and everyone will believe you.
Look it up in the dictionary, it'll tell you how it's done. Let's see Webster, and chroma key. Good morning. On this final live program of the Webster winter season, we are indeed honored to have a very special guest. He's a bit of a mystery. Even though he's quite prominent in political and other affairs in the community, he's a man who seldom tells the truth about himself. What are his political principles? How much money does he make? Why does he curry favor with certain politicians? Why does he dare to turn his back on people? My guest, and you'll recognize the overweight stinker in a moment, is here now. Good morning, sir. Nice of you to come. My first question to you this morning, sir, is stop weaseling and dodging and tell the Webster audience how much money you make. As I've told people better than you, it's none of your business, except for the fact that I pay every nickel of taxes straight up front, and I'm not into the public trough like certain people, and furthermore, I don't have any bleeding index pension. Now, what's next? What are your politics? You've never really declared yourself. Or are you solely committed to expediency with a touch of showbiz? I have found through the years that expediency is much better for me because you're not hampered by any particular pangs of conscience. How can one take a position anytime, anyway, on any subject if you're hampered by principles? Man, I'm a survivor, and remember that when you grow up. Be a survivor. Expediency with a touch of showbiz is the answer for today's television commentators. Why is it then that you lick Trudeau's boots, go easy on Bennett, and are far too jolly with wee fat Davy? Cool it, Webster, just cool it a little bit. That's a lie about Trudeau. And if anybody else says that to me again, I'll lean across the table and clout them. I'm still perfectly capable of clouting people. Lick Trudeau's boots, am I a senator? Do I have any Liberal government appointments? No. I've been as tough with Trudeau as anybody in this country. And as far as Bennett's concerned, what can you do with Bennett? You ask him a question, what do you get? A 3-minute speech prepared by the boys in the back room. Let me say something else about wee fat jolly Davy, who when he was Premier before, used to run around the province 3 feet off the ground saying, here's $1 million, there's $1 million. He's good showbiz, wee Davy. Although he may be hampered by principles, but that I'm not sure about. But don't say I'm soft on politicians. I should be rougher on them. But I'm getting old, you know. I'll be 45 next week. How dare you, sir, as I've seen you do on one occasion, turn your back on a very decent, young, elected member of Parliament, and you had the gall and arrogance to insult him in public. Me do that? I never did any such thing. On that particular occasion, when I was interviewing our $60,000 a year elected representative, he was kind of slow in answering the question. So with my normal modesty and humility, I merely turned around so that I could have a little cough, blow my nose, do my hair, and people interpreted that as a deliberate, arrogant insult. Nothing could be farther from today's version of my particular truth. And furthermore, your accent, phony as a $3 bill. My God. And furthermore, hadn't thought you lie a lot. You're much fatter than you say you are, and this nonsense about being on a diet is surely demonstrable on television with your belly hanging out. I'm 10 pounds lighter than you are, Webster. I'll guarantee that. 10 pounds lighter than Webster. I'm going to do to you what dozens and hundreds of people should have done over the past 25 years. Tell you to mind your own business and get the hell off this set. You nit, you. Thank goodness that interview is over. I'll be back without that disgusting mystery guest after the break.
Hi, Jack. I've had a really good season this year, best one I've had in a long time. Just one thing to set the record straight, though. I've never been a policeman, or as you'd say, a cop, ever in my life. Promise, I'm not spying on you. Have a good summer.
I got in serious trouble with one viewer only last week, in which she accused me of treason, sedition, conspiracy to destroy the nation and the crown, because I had the unutterable gall to take a viewer's letter on our national anthem, O Canada. And just to annoy her once more, I'm going to do it again, not once, but twice. I trust you have a sense of humor, because I am going to give you a jolly good giggle with a new national anthem for Canada entitled, not O Canada, O-A-W, Canada. Is the orchestra standing by? Oh, start it again. Cue it up and start it again. I muffed it. Stop it and start it again. I promise you it's a giggle. Are you ready? Sound up. Oh, Canada land. Start it again. I'm going to do it again. You should have used the slow version. Now try again. Tell me when you're ready. I need a conductor. Oh, Canada, our strike-bound, crippled land, trade union pay by all thy sons demand. But by unions all thy trade we stall, our northland weak and frail. We go, stand aside, oh Canada, we go on strike and wail. Oh, keep us paid, workless are we. Oh, Canada, we go on strike for thee. Oh, Canada, we go on strike for thee. That was disastrous. Take it away. Now, because that was disastrous, we're going to try it again.
Okay.
With throwing the things up. What do you call that?
Telemation.
With telemation.
Right. Ready?
No.
Oh, this is good. So
I muffed it again.
Somebody over there muffed it.
Bag it up, and we'll go on the cue this time. Okay, as soon as I hear the music. Oh, Canada, our land of corporate gifts, expense accounts for high executives. We struggle on our tax load high, our health and schooling gone. And you and I, the unemployed, expect to carry on. Oh God, save our land from businessmen with greed. Oh, Canada, watch your country bleed. Oh, Canada, with, God help us, with their needs. That's better.
Bravo.
Then we were going to do the other one properly.
No, I don't think we can hear it again.
Okay. Okay. I surrender. Next.
Well, there was a. Do you remember who was the High Commissioner to Canada?
Sir John Ford. Wonderful.
And
he came. Let me tell you.
Okay, you tell him this one.
He came on, and in my usual brash manner, I said, "What are you doing with the old armor-plated Rolls Royce?" And he said, "I'm probably going to sell it." So I said, "Look into the camera and give us a 30-second commercial." Well, Susie Boyce got the camera crew in Ottawa to take some shots of the car. Now listen to this. She put his little sales pitch to the music and produced it, and we sold the Rolls Royce for the High Commissioner for $60,000. And here was the most successful commercial ever shown on the Webster show in which we sold anything. I'll give you 30 seconds to do a quick, short, sharp commercial to sell the Rolls Royce.
It's an armoured car. In fact, I think it's the only armoured Rolls in North America. Somebody who needs protection might like to pay a very good price for a car which I reckon new would cost you nearly $200,000. It's a unique car that'll triple in value in 5 years and be worth a fortune, at the same time give you care and protection and guarantee that you're not shot at. My Rolls Royce is it. Just send in your bids to Ottawa.
That was fantastic, wasn't it?
I understand Sir John has a used car lot in Liverpool at this very moment.
As a matter of fact, he's retired and living in Hazelmere in Surrey.
Oh, but of course.
I may give him a call this summer when I'm over.
Why not? Well, remember, speaking of showbiz, remember the Black Light Theatre and the Famous People Players who you work with every year when they come to town to do their show? Well, we got a glimpse of you during rehearsals dancing this year in which you reacted somewhat irate when someone else wanted to lead, as I remember.
Okay, let's see it. And then we'll go to the phones after.
Right, to the phones.
No Betty Hutton he. No Betty Hutton he. That was a rehearsal we did on the stage for the Black Light people.
And it came off like gangbusters.
It was very
again
good indeed. It's great fun.
That's
I sometimes think I'm crazy though. I blinking mind.
No comment.
Now what?
Well, I think we got to get some people to ask us what they miss. I mean, I may have missed a few things here and there. So
you couldn't do a request now, could you?
Well, it depends on what it is. We've got a few things easy to get. We can give it a shot if we can find out what we
I wonder if they will. Let's try them anyway. But let me explain something first of all. Why all this fuss today? Well, this is our last live program. I do the programs, as you know, from early in September, live through till the end of March. Then we run the Best of Webster for April. I get the summer off and come back renewed in the fall. So we'll take a break, go to phones, and if you've got a simple request that we can get our hands on quickly, we might be able to play it. I'm not promising you anything after the break.
Yes, it is as glamorous as you've heard, working for Jack Webster. Hi, I'm Linda. I'm Jack's production assistant. And I'd just like to wish all of you, and especially you, Jack, a terrific summer. See you next year.
And you're telling me we've only got two-minute segments left
Sorry
because we've got to
about
get
that.
the commercials in. Oh, just breathe. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, quickly.
Yes, I just wanted to tell you a little story. I'm from Nova Scotia, and I thought you'd enjoy this before your summer break.
I haven't time to hear it. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Where are you?
Hello?
Yes.
Am I on?
Yes. But you're off now. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Well, maybe you should tell the people a little bit about the tie that you're wearing. I like it very much.
That is a Trudeau salmon arm signal tie. Do you want to come in on it? The Trudeau salmon arm signal. It's the finger signal from the Prime Minister of Canada.
I love it, Jack.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, please. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Jack?
Yes.
Hi, this is Anne, Curly Locks from the cafeteria. Have a great summer, and I hope to see you in September.
Oh, Annie, thanks very much for calling. Cuddly Locks from the cafeteria.
Right.
Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Jack. It's Margaret from Guruk, and I haven't seen you for many years.
Oh, we Maggie Figura.
That's right, and I'd like to see some of your clip from Glasgow. I really enjoyed it.
Next year, after the break.
Well, Jack, it's time to get the old plates of meat, up the apples and pears, on the frog and toad, and away you go. Have a good summer.
This is Barbara Spencer from the Canadian Cancer Society, and you brought me some daffodils for a reason.
Yes, I did. This is the beginning of the Cancer Society, the campaign, and we're going to be selling daffodils all throughout the malls. 50
Good.
cents a piece.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I'm going to Kamloops this weekend to take part in the opening of the Canadian Cancer Society campaign in Kamloops. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Barbara Spencer from the Canadian Cancer Society. Thank you. Time for a call from Prince George. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi there.
Yeah.
I know you like interviewing Hollywood stars there, Jack. Tom Selleck from Magnet Guy will be there in May. Maybe you can interview him for next fall.
Would like to very much indeed. Good. From Lumbee, go ahead, please.
Yeah, hello, Jack.
Hello.
Yeah, I just want to say I enjoy your program. I don't think your singing's that bad. It makes me sound really good.
I think it.
Have a safe and healthy summer.
It's nice to be an extrovert like me, though, because born April the 15th, you've got to be a loud-mouthed extrovert. Go ahead, please.
Yes, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you do that little clip on the Trudeau interview where he said he'd retire when you retire?
We ran that one already.
We've run that 55 times so far.
Okay.
Now, thank you very much. We're not going to have time for any more calls. I want to say thanks to you, Steve.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
especially to you and Pat Ellingson, the director, and Schneider and Liz and Linda and all the crew, Jono and Freddie and the boys.
Been a good year.
It's been the best year we've had in Webster. Would you believe we've done 6 years, and come September, the day after Labor Day, we start the 7th year. And we're going to keep going till the year 2001. Now, be back after the break?
Right. Jack, it's been 4 years now since I've been meeting you every morning at 7 o'clock, and I just want to say that I still think you look better with your makeup on. And I know how much you like Pat Ellingson when she talks with her mouth full, and here she is with a minor snack with something to say.
Call me, we'll have lunch.
See you in September, Jack.
My donut fell down.
Great. Stanley Blackwood, my technical director, is lolling about somewhere doing absolutely nothing, but there are times when he's very effective. He's on holiday at the moment. I should add that. He put together Webster. Just terrific. Thank you, old Stanley. Bill Caesar and Carl Castleman were the cameraman on the Yukon trip. We did that in no time flat. Fantastic. Not a wasted moment. A great program. Nobody else in the country could do it. I'll be back September.
When? 9 a.m.?
9 a.m. precisely.
Tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen. Pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the streets, the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5. For service and devotion, you would think that I would deserve a fair promotion. Want to move ahead, but watch him shatter. You're just a step on the boss man's ladder, but you got dreams he'll never take away. You're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, waiting for the day your ship will come in and the tide's gonna turn and it's all gonna roll your way. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and you never get the credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, yeah, they got you where they want you. There's a better life, and you think about it, don't you? It's a rich man's game, no matter what they call it, and you spend your life putting money in his wallet. 9 to 5, oh, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, yeah.
Where is everybody? You never find anybody around this damn place.